Back in a second.
Well, we will not be back in a second. We're back right now. So, hello and welcome everyone back to the Dumbass class with me, the Dyslexic Gamer, as it's kind of dark. Hang on. As we carry on, that made things worse. As we carry on with our Dark Heresy campaign, where in the last episode, or a bit of a recap, as our Inquisitor and his acolytes were aboard the rogue trader vessel above the orbit of Aguafria, they began to leave the system to get away from the Imperial Navy ships that were around the planet and recovering from the traitorous attack. The rogue trader ship, the Lustful Maiden, regrouped with the other rogue trader ship as well, something strange was happening within the warp at the Mandible Point. Some ships, or a couple of very large ships, were making their way into the system. A few, again, 40k, these things take hours. A few hours of traveling and a few hours of waiting. One Arc Mechanicus vessel emerged that had a very strange energy signature. Although it did have an Imperial energy signature, it also had a Xenos energy signature, which our Adeptus Mechanicus member was able to discover with the auger rays on the Emperor's Profiteer. This was quite alarming when in the warp, but once emerging and with a certain NPC's happy clickering, clattering sounds, the Arc Mechanicus Numerous Primus Wanderer arrived within system. God damn it, there's his fucking name. I've been looking for your name everywhere, you son of a... Can I even remember how to say that name now? We'll have a look at the other name that I wrote down and see which one's easier.
Call him Keith.
No. The Numerous Primus Wanderer arrived in system. This is an ancient Arc Mechanicus vessel that was stricken on its voyages into the unknown, and its crew had modified it heavily to allow it to get back into Imperial space. In doing so, protecting this hallowed piece of technology, they turned out to have, become heretics of the greatest order by incorporating, Xenos technology to keep the vessel running. The second craft to enter the system, now I think we'll go with the new name. The second craft was a Space Marine strike craft, the Killing Thrust, which is owned by the Bloody Stone chapter. After some cringe moments where I had to explain why Magnus has a chapter with parts of his heraldry and why they kind of really, really, really like Magnus for saving their asses, we got to the point where Magnus and his acolytes were informed that there were two Inquisitors in this convoy, as well as a Grand Master. Magnus, already knowing this as the Ordo headquarters for the headquarters for Ordo Mechadendrum, is in fact this Arc Mechanicus craft.
Oh. Wait, there was two Inquisitors.
Yes. There is one, Latilla... Where's her full name? Inquisitor Magnus. Oh, there you go. Latilla Scarlet Orlean, and one... Orlean. And one in...
Scarlet is the nickname.
Inquisitor Gregorius Numerus. Yeah.
Rigorous and humorous. Right.
Which are fortunately both allies of Magnus, so there is no need to. He did not seem to be upset at hearing that his old comrades had arrived. A little bit shocked that they had arrived at such a time, but the chapter master. The chapter master, yes. They send a chapter. Would they send it? Well, they did send a chapter master. Fuck it, I'm not changing it. The chapter master,
Probably just the
Tar.
captain. The captain.
No, they owe him. Why not? Why wouldn't they send
Okay.
an important representative? The chapter master, Tar Magroth, informed Magnus that the Grand Master had requested his presence, as he has been out of contact with the Ordos and his order for quite some time. And the Grand Master was eager to see his beloved acolyte with his, Xenos technology that he was field testing for him. So after our acolytes boarded their gun cutter, they made their way to the Arc Mechanicus vessel. I should also mention there is another craft making its way, and that is Magnus's personal gun cutter, which is piloted by something Ulftane. No, it's not Ulftane. Something Kroon. Is it Sarah Kroon? Mari Kroon? I can't remember. Can't find her sheet now. I moved things around, and that's what's... Yeah, I can't find it anymore. But it's not important. Kroon is piloting Magnus's gun cutter. I don't know why I haven't got her name written down, but never mind. So, as our group arrived on board this ancient vessel... Uh-oh. We lost a player. I don't know when, but we... Oh, solitary. Sadness.
Yeah.
Sadness. So, as the crew of the gun cutter arrived in the Arc Mechanicus vessel, they were all warned by Magnus that this will not be pleasant. The Grand Master is eccentric, would be putting it just a little bit lightly. Oh no. Oh no. Mm-hmm.
Did it break again?
No. I just noticed that Eris left the dropped from the game as well. I was checking to see if Eris had dropped from the Discord.
Maybe Warno fucking breaking everything.
Yeah, there may be a crash going on somewhere down the line, some panic reeing. As the group essentially formed up behind Magnus as the gun cutter's ramp lowered, you were in a hangar bay of immaculate Mechanicus quality. There are skulls to the Omnisire hanging everywhere, and just all this ornamentation to the Omnisire is just everywhere in this hangar. There is essentially a squad of mastercrafted servitors. Their weapons are not at the ready, and for most of them, their weapons aren't actually shown. They are inbuilt. And there is a flock of servo skulls. As soon as you step off your gun cutter and place a vile boot human nature onto the ship, the servo skulls take flight in your direction, and the servitors begin parade marching over to your location. Magnus does walk forwards, and with his hands behind his back, probably ushering you to stay behind him, you walk out onto the deck. The servo skulls come over to you first. In Binaric, they would inform anyone who understands binary. You have entered the most hallowed grounds of the Omnisire. This vessel belongs to Ordo Mechadendrum, and you will do as you are told. You will be followed, you will be watched, you will be observed. All praise the Omnisire and the hallowed protector of this ancient vessel. Hallowed be the Omnisire, hallowed be his name, hallowed be the spark that brings life into his creations, and may all give praise and homage to his great workings. This is in binary, so only Eris Winters really understands this. The servo skulls fly around you all. Winters would know or would sense the scans, the probes, the gene sniffing, which is a real thing in 40k, as essentially all your biological data is taken. The servitors take a much wider stance away from each other to basically take up the whole group, as one mastercrafted servitor with a Vox implant says in common, "You have entered Adeptus Mechanicus held territory, ordered by the Ordo Mechadendrum. You have no choice in where you go, what you do, or how you are watched. Respect the machine, or there will be consequences." Magnus makes very little, he's heard this before, and looks to the rest of you, giving you a kind of sidelong sighing glance, and addresses the servitor. "I am Magnus of the Ordo Mechadendrum." He presents his Rosarius, and a servo skull comes down and scans and then integrates with it with tiny little mechadendrite attachments. Blurt of binary is spoken by the skull, which again Winters would understand as identification accepted, as the servo skull, as the servitor reports, "Welcome, Inquisitor Magnus Bloodstone. The Grand Master awaits you." It turns almost on in a very robotic esque manner, which is odd for a servitor. It does seem as if its legs are completely detached. They're cybernetic to the hips, so the torso spins around 180, as the legs begin walking backwards and then slowly turning as the other servitors await your move on. There are 2 servitors for each of you which are following you. There are also 3 servo skulls which buzz around above you. They are quite annoying for anyone who isn't Lady Winters. The second gun cutter opens, and a number of the other acolytes emerge, and they are carrying certain items. You can't see them. They are in boxes, cases, so on and so forth, but yet things are being unloaded, and some of them are passed off to servitors that are awaiting said packages. The Inquisitor looks to you all and, well, follow me, I guess. Or them, either way.
I'm staying where I'm comfortable, following the pack.
I'm just gonna shrug and. All right, you lead the way, sir.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fall in behind him.
I follow in behind as well.
I like spaceships, but there are too many people. There's too much looking at me right now.
I'm taking in the sights. I'm probably not taking it in with as much childish glee as Winters is, but I'm at least taking in the sights because this is probably the third ship I've ever been in. Fourth?
How does it look chromy and shiny all, or is it also normal signs of wear and tear? Or is it very shiny?
No, this is polished brass. In a lot of places, the walls have been removed, so you can see the actual workings of the machine. So aesthetically, things are not hidden. But all the things that are on show are very like, wow, look at those cogs turning to do, what does that actually affect? What part of the machinery is this? And everything is immaculate. There is not a speck of rust or dirt anywhere, as it seems as if this ship has basically Roombas. You don't actually hear about, you hear cleaning servitors, but you don't hear about Roombas. This ship apparently still has archaeotech of that magnitude as they go across through the corridors, cleaning and hoovering and scrubbing and so on. You would
into walls.
Yes, these are archaeotech ones, so the walls must be cleaned as well, you know.
Ah, yes, great forgotten technology. I wonder what it does. I think I have to put it down and press this button. It sucks up dirt and grime.
Exactly. So
I'm
as
surprised
you,
it would kill it for being an abominable intelligence.
well, they probably think this is a heretical ship, so you know, it is archaeotech, so maybe not, but you know, Mars might not be pleased.
There's only one Roomba per room, so they don't congregate and like, plot the fucking overthrow of the tech priests.
God fucking damn it.
1 point.
I'm just trying to feel if I can sense the rumbling of the engines.
Oh yes, no, you'd
the rumbling of the fucking engines.
you'd get a bonus to that kind of test because there's a constant hum of energy of. So the plasma reactors are currently not, they're on idle, so you wouldn't have the big vibrations or the big, but there is a you know, you can put your hand to the wall and feel that it's quivering with, you know, just being on tick over.
Do they feel healthy?
Oh yes, this ship feels immaculate. It feels like there is not a missed beat. You wouldn't know about the Xenos energy signature that runs through the ship, but as far as you're concerned, this is, you know, completely beautiful and there's nothing wrong at all.
I am uncomfortable with the amount of servo skills and servitors watching me, but I don't know what I actually like this ship. I am tapping my feet happily every now and then, and I am interested in the ship. Not like Winters, but I am.
So this ship does have a -20 or a -40 to its morale because it's more servitors than humans. But the fact that they're mainly Adeptus Mechanicus personnel, they don't suffer the penalty because they like this kind of, you know, Scutari and tech priests are not going to be bothered by servitors. But the human crew,
I mean,
what little there are, probably are.
I was going to say, like, oh yeah, the ship suffers a -40 to its morale test, but all of the crew are servitors, so none of them actually give a fuck.
So as you basically make your way out of the docking deck, sorry, the hangar deck. Again, the corridors are immaculate. There are servitors all over the place. They are not the janky variety of 40k. These are master crafted. They look immaculate. Now, the rogue trader of the Emperor's Profiteer also had some master crafted servitors, but these things are built for design, not aesthetics. So they do still look big and chunky, and the clear combat servitors are, you can see the hidden compartments that would hold ammo and weapons and so on and so forth. They don't draw them at you, but you do get the sense that their heads are watching you as you go past, even with your escort. You were led down a corridor a few, maybe 200 meters before the head servitor, the one with the Vox emitter, stops at a room, interacts with the door opening mechanism, giving some sort of ID code as the doors open and you are all led in. This is a internal teleporter.
What?
No.
The ship is quite huge.
No.
Quite huge. The servitors basically frog march yourselves into position. You get into this room, into this area. Magnus knows what's coming. He doesn't inform anyone.
I don't know what a teleportarium is. I'm confused why I have to stand here.
There's a build-up of energy and static sound.
I'm going to start asking, sir, what's happening?
Don't worry about it.
What? I'm looking at Winters now. Winters, you know what's happening. What's happening?
Don't worry about it.
What? How much is about to hurt?
There is a crack of energy and reality seems to split for a moment. As you enter into another room, feeling as if your internal organs have kind of been a little bit mushed, and then not mushed, and then put back together, and then not put back together, as the room you are in is covered in an icy layer. Can everyone give me a plus 20 toughness test, as it is quite nauseous inducing the first few times.
I'll just say, like, I can safely say I'd probably just throw up anyway.
Yeah.
Would I gain any? I know this is probably doesn't matter, but would I gain any bonus because I'm a void one?
No, you've never teleported before.
Okay.
Like this is archaeotech on the highest level.
Holy Jesus!
Oh fuck! There goes your luck. Winters, do you want to give me an agility test with a minus 20 to see if you could get your hand up to your mouth quick enough before, organic matter comes forth?
That's just not gonna happen. There's just no way that's
Do you
gonna
have a
happen.
cybernetic
See?
arm?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm vomiting.
So yeah, unfortunately, Darius and Winters both allow some organic matter. Oh, sorry, Darius, you can minus 20 agility to try and catch you up, put your hand to your mouth and hold it in. Winters, there's definitely...
No, I had my mouth open, but I probably had my mouth open when I was there. I was like, "What's happening? What the heck is going on? What the?" And then teleport.
The
For some
Immediately.
reason,
This is probably the closest.
Go ahead, Waldo.
Right.
I was going to say, this is probably the closest you've ever felt to the warp gym. That's all teleporting is.
So almost immediately as you arrive in the room, there's a cold frost over everything. The sound of organic matter hits the floor. The archaeotech Roombas emerge and begin cleaning, almost as if on cue. The servo skulls begin in uniform singing in binary about the wonders of the Omnisire, praise the hallowed creation, and so on and so forth. The servitors simply, "We have arrived." As the lead servitor goes to the door, those of you who need a moment can take a moment to be like, "What the fuck just happened?" What? As the door is opened by the servitor and you emerge upon the bridge. Magnus will step forwards first. If you want to have a quick discussion in the teleportarium room, you may.
What the faff was that?
Just gonna look around, see everybody vomiting. I was like, ah.
It was literally just me and Winters.
I'm gonna put both my hands on my hips, look at you guys vomit. I was like, huh, that was weird, right?
Oh, by the Emperor.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Is Tiffany following us?
Not at this moment, no.
Okay.
So she would be with the
Roll
other
technical.
acolytes, or Magnus would have told her to go with the other acolytes at this time. It's safer with them.
Probably. Nice enough.
Not really. They'll get teleported as well, but to a different area.
You say that, but you know, I'm hearing just Dr. Bring from Half-Life.
Oh god. It's safer here. Don't mind the stalkers in the background. Oh god. All right. So can I do an awareness test? Take a good look around, take in all the details, or can I just look around?
Sure, yeah, you can just look around. What is this in the teleportarium room, or are you stepping out onto the bridge?
Yeah, I'll step out. Like once I finish vomiting and shit, I'll cautiously throw my hand up, grab the doorway, and just kind of steady myself as I walk in and take a look around the bridge.
Okay, so the bridge is probably about 5 times the size of any other Imperial ship. This may be larger than a normal Arc Mechanicus vessel. There's probably about 100 tech priests. Not all of them are connected to consoles, but a vast majority of them are. The number of cognite units and banks and the sound of clicking and tapping, and it's about 5 levels of bridges where there are different things going on, tech priests reading different signatures, and again, this room is immaculate, polished chrome and brass everywhere. As you all step out of the teleportarium room, there is a control throne for the ship with a number of mechadendrite attachments surrounding it from the below and above. But behind the throne itself is a large, and I mean very large, skull of the Adeptus Mechanicus, of the Omnisire, which is hovering. It is quite literally hovering in mid-air, slowly spinning round as the skull goes from jaw up, skull down, you know. There are large clamps at the back of the bulkhead, which looks as if they're designed to grab hold of the cog and almost become the gears that connect the symbol to the rest of the ship. Below that is a very large archway with incredibly ornate doors with scripture all over them to the Adeptus Mechanicus and different illustrations of different, what is it? Constructs of the Adeptus Mechanicus. So knights, sentinels, tanks, weapons, so on and so forth, in a really beautiful artistic way. But there's almost silence from the crew. There's not much noise coming from them except from the tipper tapper of keyboards. And as you take it all in, you see where Magnus is. He's at the front. He's coming up to the front of the. It almost looks like a stage that looks down upon the other layers of the ship bridge. And there stood is a very mediocre sized individual. He's actually smaller than Magnus by probably about a head. He's far bulkier, however. And it does appear as if his back is arched. As he stands there, you don't see his face or his front, but you can see there's almost as if someone was moving their elbows in and out. But obviously in a robe. But it looks as if under the robe there are other things doing the same motion. There is a very large data coil which is coming up from the deck of the ship of the bridge, going into the back of his skull or his neck area. It seems to be attaching to a port. Magnus is just stood there silently waiting, as the servo skulls have come in. Again, only Winters knows this. Proclaiming Magnus's arrival, and praising the Omnisire and so on and so forth. You almost fail to notice, with the grandeur of this room, the fact that there are 2 Astartes either side of the door, and there are a number of Scutari positioned in alcoves around the room, as well as a number of servitors that are also implanted in areas throughout the room. Many of them weaponized. There don't seem to be that many that are controlling functions, but there are a few. Oh, I don't think I mentioned the color scheme of the Astartes. So, much like Magnus, they enjoy the color red. So their main color is red, with a trim of grayish stone. Not sneaky, boys. Not sneaky.
So red with grey stone trim.
Yes.
Yeah, that stands out.
Yeah.
They were
least they've
knights.
finished
They were
their
meant to be
paint
frontline fighters. I wasn't really thinking when Jay was like, "What color scheme would you like?" I don't know, red. That's Magnus's color.
I mean,
I mean, it
you
sends a
can always
message if
do
you don't
Russian
care if you're
stealth.
seen or not.
If there is no one left, it is stealth.
This is true. This is true. If there's no one to see them, then how could you say that they're not stealthy?
If there is no one to tell on you, it's also stealthy.
So this is just for reference. This was Magnus's armor, or is Magnus's armor. Only it's more red. As the yes, I just stuck his head on his shield and I believe his sword on another person's artwork. I'm a thief. I understand.
Ah.
Yeah, it's a lot more red, and it's not quite silver. It's meant to be greyish stone color. But a blood in the stone, of course. There's got to be more blood than stone, because why not? I like taking people's heads off. I'm surprised I didn't fall to corn. So the a few moments go by, where you are able to take everything in. I know I wasn't that original. When there's a hissing sound as the big thick data cable in the Grandmaster's neck skull area detaches. It seems to be made up of a lot of data filament mechadendrites. So these wispy wires come and retract from his head, and the whole data cable seems to be like a mechadendrite as it goes upright and then begins to retract into the floor. It doesn't just fall limply on the ground. Magnus, it has been too long. How has my surveillance servo skull functioned? It functioned well, Grandmaster. My acolytes did not know of its presence for the most part, and it was able to record in great detail. The optical camera installed upon it is clearly of superior make. There's a squeal that comes from the Grandmaster, but also an annoying click. The Xenos have many improvements on inferior technologies that we produce now. It is irritating, although they still do not comprehend the glories of archaeotech and what we have sadly forgotten. But it should be easier to acquire their improved pick feed technology. It is saddened that it will not ever be implemented within the wider Imperium, but we do not function for the wider Imperium. If that were the case, this ship would be replicated. As you are, why are you here? For this modified servo skull? Negative, Magnus. There have been issues that have arisen in your absence and exclusion. We did not know you were in this system. If we had, we would have informed you of your new Ordo Sisters mission. I was surprised that she joined the Ordo, but at the same time she has been useful to us. I was able to acquire a number of Ordo Hereticus and Ordo Xenos transmissions using the Numerus Primus Wondrous's sensors. Gregorius is also here. His mission seemed to have a number of flags linking to this world. Latilla also investigating numerous cult activity involving this system and later this world. En route, it made sense to acquire them all. Ordo Hereticus has put out a censure on you, Magnus. 5 Inquisitors have joined. You are to be brought in for questioning and possibly another round of interrogation. Grandmaster, that's impossible. I've cleared my name once. I will not go through that again. The Grandmaster raises his hand. His right hand is made up of maybe 500 or 600, maybe 1,000 tiny mechadendrites that seem to intertwine to make a hand-like visage. Gregorius and Latilla were able to ascertain these were members of the former Lord Inquisitor's retinue. Number of Inquisitors investigating Ordo Hereticus within Ordo Hereticus are rising. Even the Inquisition finds it strange when one Inquisitor goes through one round of sanctions only to go through another. For now, Magnus, you will bow down to my investigation and my inquiries. Along with your fellow Inquisitors, we will be your judge and jury. Magnus seems to have a bit of a hissy fit strop in his body language, as he's sighing heavily, frustrated, begins to walk as he takes out a glow stick, places it to his lips, a number of weapon servitors' arm. Oh, by the Emperor and Omnisci, fuck off! He lights his glow stick. You cannot be telling me that you wish to interrogate me of my actions. Have I not proven that I am loyal? Have I not shown that you have shown nothing and proven nothing to the Omnisci? Very well. I will acquiesce to your request, Grand Master. It was not a request. It is a demand. Your demand, then. I only hope you have the good courtesy to give me more pleasantries than my last. Magnus turns from the Ordo Grand Master as he gazes upon all of you. A number of servo skulls emerge and begin hovering around you. Again, gene sniffing, scanning, all manners of very intrusive things, as you each feel a stabbing pain in your neck. A servo skull comes round to each of you at the exact same time and jabs a needle in, small bit of blood comes out, and then it's away again.
How?
Yeah, that's Darius kind of like hand slaps the back of the neck, looks around the fucking service calls. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, matter about bloody mosquito servitors. How they even serverize them. How do you go? What's the verb to make someone a servitor?
Serverization.
Servitorize?
Yeah. Serverize, cyberize,
Fuck up.
Kerbal. in a sense.
The Grand Master makes his way along the floor. Now, again, he doesn't move like a normal human. It almost slivers in a very strange kind of way. His robes move flawlessly flowing along the floor. There's not that stop-start of a normal bipedal individual. He ignores almost all of you as he stands in front of Winters. He raises to his full height. His spine literally creaking and cracking as he raises up, looking now down upon Winters in binaric. One who welcomes the Omnisci and all his forbidden glory into themselves is one that is welcome aboard this hallowed vessel. I am pleased at your modifications, but understand this, young one. Be wary of Mars, always, especially now.
I don't think that's going to be a problem.
You are there, Winters. You are muted.
Winters is typing.
Glorious.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem, though.
There is
I think that's a pretty good answer.
There is a squeal of binary, which to Winters is he. As the front. So as before, it seemed as if he had, he was moving his elbows in and out. Now the front of his robes seems to vibrate, almost as if fish are feeding on the surface of the water. The fabric and material of his robes just begins vibrating, gyrating, like moving insanely quickly, as it stops dead immediately, almost as quickly as it started, as he turns to Magnus again. This one is worthy of this ship. I will requisition. You will not. He lowers down ever so slightly. I have a number of other Adeptus Mechanicus personnel who you may be interested in, Grandmaster. I believe Jenny has requested to be removed from my party, as have a number of others. As my two friends are here, of course, I will offer their services to them firstly, but I doubt Jenny or the other one will be too interested in another Inquisitor's retinue.
The other one. Eris does make a good point there. Winters is very blatantly from Ryza, and although it might be Eris's headcanon, but I think it's actually canon as well. Ryza and Mars do not get along, so it's probably quite blatant to him that Winters is fuck Mars.
So, how do I put this? Magoses do like to scan without consent. They are kind of rapey in that terminology. Be very careful of who you let scan you in future.
I mean, it's still 40k.
Oh god, I can make a really bad joke.
And Ordo Juris is a real thing, and can be a bit wanky
sure.
at times.
Don't forget the mandated breeding of Cadians.
The mandated breeding of everything.
Fair enough.
The Grandmaster, against binary is spoken. It's basically all hands, check systems, input port data. More ceremonially, you wouldn't think he would need to set. Oh bollocks! I missed a thing. So Winters, you're also connected to the. Fuck, I can't remember what it's called now. Shit. What's the
Newsphere?
What's the Newsphere? Thank you, Geddy. Yes, you're connected to the Newsphere as soon as you enter this ship. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that from Winters. Eris, sorry. Yeah, you're connected to the Newsphere aboard this ship. The binary that he spurts out seems to be more of like ceremonial, because again, it comes up on the Newsphere before he really says it. As he turns back to the group and Magnus, we will go to the meeting room. Your fellow Inquisitors are keen to meet you once more, Magnus. And I am keen to find out why you have been avoiding contact with me and the Ordos. Magnus, kind of pissy now, grumbling, smoking his low stick, walks towards the large archway underneath the floating skull of the Mechanicus, giving
Can
the...
I?
Sure. Would you like to do?
I was going to say, I haven't been told anything otherwise. So as soon as I see Magnus starting to move off, I'll shrug my shoulders and start following after him.
Sure. He gives a notice of the Astartes. They're statues. They don't move. But the doors open and Magnus leaves the bridge and flicks his ash on the floor outside of the bridge. He stands there for a moment as awaiting the Grand Master. The Grand Master, again, in a very odd locomotive style, is kind of skimming along the ground. Although you do see at the hem of his robes, there are definitely things moving him along. He's not actually floating. Makes his way off the bridge. Okay. The Scutari salute him. The two Astartes do not. And they are but statues in almost all visual sense. Quite possibly that's what he looks like. Quite possibly under those robes, I would. Yep, quite. So the Grand Master makes his way off the bridge. There are a number of alcoves going all the way along the main thoroughfare. Well, not thoroughfare. The main hallway leading up to the bridge. Again, it's probably about 200 meters or so of just a few meters alcove. Scutari stood there almost motionless, only moves to salute the Grand Master. They don't have radium weapons, but they do have advanced Scutari weapons. This ship is not wasteful in crew or personnel. It is a part of its system. Waste not, want not. There's very little talking that goes on between Magnus and the Grand Master. Magnus actually hangs back a bit to be closer towards his acolytes.
Fair. That is completely and utterly fair.
Are you raising your hand to Magnus? That is a yes, and then
I have been raising my hand ever since it was decided that he should stand trial.
He gives you a nod and yes, Winters.
What are we going to be doing if you're going to be busy with the hearing?
I'm hoping this is just going to be us relaying information of what we've been doing, and it will answer all the questions. I shouldn't imagine Natilla or Gregorius will actually want to censor me. The Grand Master may want to keep me around or my acolytes around for things. But hopefully this will not be like the last one. Can't afford another 15 years.
15 years?
That is going to cut significantly into our operational effectiveness.
It had to do with a Lord Inquisitor. Many Inquisitors were like, I don't believe him. I want to ask him personally. I want my psychers to probe his mind.
Yeah, Winters is right. That's definitely going to eat into our combat capability as well as tactical and anything capability.
Yes, that whole ordeal was 15 years of misery, and fortunately his acolytes were not treated quite as harshly as he was. So they were able to at least have decent accommodations on an Inquisitorial prison world, you know. No, it probably wasn't that bad
What do
for
you
the
even do
acolytes.
for 15 years? Just sitting around?
But there's a lot of...
Questioned
Yeah,
for 15 years.
Yeah, you're questioned, you're mind probed, you're checked to see if you've been corrupted, if you're telling the truth on every single level. And then it's not just...
Thank God for rejuvenation therapies.
Pretty much.
You do get Sanguila off, but for Sanguila you get a mind probe for Christmas.
But the it's because it's a Grand Master. Because it's a Lord Inquisitor who Magnus and his acolytes killed, and then, you know, had to try and prove that they're not the heretics. And then the fact that there were, I think there are 12 Inquisitors that Magnus basically pointed the finger at and was like, he was working for him. He was part of it. So then he had to prove, admittedly, Gregorius is is most unlucky because he got stuck with the 15 years as well. Because he was also an Inquisitor who turned technically renegade to help Magnus fight the Lord Inquisitor. Liliana would have got away with it because she was only an interrogator at that time. So she was using Magnus's authority. So she may have been questioned for a couple of years, being told to give all the information about what was found. Same with sister, God damn it, what was it? Carla? Carla, that's it, Carla. I think it's Carla. Yes, Carla. And where they were technically former sisters of battle or sisters of... Can't remember what Carla was now. She was a bookworm.
Different orders.
Well, no. So Carla was a bookworm. She was Magnus's savant. She was the intelligent one with all the law knowledge. And you were
a highly intelligent, incompetent medical officer of the Hospitaller.
Hospitaller. That's the one. So you were Hospitaller, and she was Famulus, I think. But she was...
She was a Tokyo one.
But you both then took the advance later on to become battle sisters, where you got the armor.
Yeah, but you know, being a battle sister doesn't technically mean we're no longer from that order. Just means
no. So Jim, in 40k terms, that would be impossible. You cannot become a battle sister. Like you're chosen as a child to be a battle sister, or to be in Famulus, or to be in Hospitaller.
Oh no, you can.
Do they?
All sisters battle are trained. All sororitas are trained for combat.
Yeah, but they're not all battle sisters. They're not all taken off to be specially trained in.
Yeah, no, not all of them are in the battle orders, but they can be transferred in and out. A former battle, a sister who does a term in the Hospitallars can go into the Sisters of Battle proper, and then go into the Famulus, which is the ones that look after the nobility and stuff.
I was under the impression there wasn't moving.
Oh no, there is movement through it.
See, I thought that was retirement.
No, they're all brainwashed religious zealots.
Okay, maybe I got it wrong.
We can retire?
Well, no. So if you're a battle sister and you can't fight as efficiently anymore, you retire to Famulus, where you then get put as a bodyguard. But yeah, so technically your sister sororitas origins protected them, whereas Magnus is a noble from a noble house that he technically ordered to mobilize against the Inquisition.
Spicy.
because Magnus is from a
I mean,
knightly house, so he was like, I have knights at my disposal. Order them to come. We need help.
I mean, getting 15 years for getting a noble house to declare war on the Inquisition is pretty good.
Don't get me wrong, that Magnus's noble house
good
may
enough,
not be a
easy.
noble house anymore. You know, I never got that far.
I
You
mean,
very quickly
I'm still
turned.
saying it's still getting off easy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do people still remember your house?
I mean,
Then you're
he
fine.
did win.
I hope so. I hope so. So yeah, it was quite an ordeal for Magnus. He doesn't want to go through that again. As you hang on, did we answer your question, Winters? I can't remember now.
Not really.
Yeah, so it's so basically, yeah, he said it's two of his comrades. This should just be explaining what we've been doing, passing off mission notes directly. You're still kind of walking down this corridor as this conversation's going on, but you can see and there are a couple of junctions that lead off, but you basically this one long corridor is leading to another large archway with more ornate doors. With two more Astartes, accompanied by a good gaggle of Scutari.
Ah, yes. Gaggles. Scutari.
As long as these aren't the radioactive ones, we'll be fine.
Thankfully, there appears to be no radiant weapons.
Not on this ship. Not on this ship.
I don't want a third testicle just because I stood beside the wrong Scutari.
The doors open up as the Grand Master approaches. Inside, there are another four Astartes. However, two of them are of a completely different heraldry. They are still of the heresy. Well, not I shouldn't use heresy type. They are of the Lord Inquisitor's spawning of Astartes.
The unsanctioned founding.
Yeah, unsanctioned founding. That's a good term for them. But these ones are completely grey in armor, the base, and black on the trim. Their emblem is that of an axe and a severed head. Welcome to the World Eater group. Somehow we prevented from going completely and utterly nuts.
I mean, do they have the nails?
No, they don't have the nails.
Yeah, so they're going to be fine. They're going to be 100% fine.
If Khorne didn't fuck over his Khorne. If fuck, his name's left me.
The most disappointing son.
Yeah, Angron. If Angron hadn't fucked over his legion, this is what they probably would have turned out like. This
is what they were like before fucking he put the nails in all their heads.
Yeah. The two grey Astartes are either side of a very old man. He is in black. They are robes, but it's more of a suit-esque style of robe where it can clearly be opened. It's more of there to, I don't want to say a cardigan, but it's more of there, like you can tell he has other clothes underneath his robe, and this is more, comforting to keep him warm, and, he looks old as fuck. On the other side of the table, is a rather beautiful looking woman. You have seen her before. She's not in her power armor, but she would again be in elegant style robes stroke dress. There is one acolyte stood next to her, who you would have seen before. I can't remember if his name is Bob or Tom. I've got it somewhere on here. So Inquisitor, acolyte, Ted. That's the one. Ted.
You
Bob
mean
or
the guy
Tom.
with the white shield?
Yeah, the white shield. Yeah,
It's that.
yeah, yeah. And there are another couple of acolytes that you've never seen before. They are unnamed because they're just extra acolytes she's acquired. As the Grandmaster enters, both Inquisitors stand up and greet him. Liliana greets him as, my Grandmaster, and Gregorius greets him as Magos Radek Z Archon, or Z for short. Grandmaster takes a seat. Two Scutari come side by side him. A number of servo skulls begin buzzing around. Winters would see that he's accessing data in the news sphere. He's giving orders. He's doing 1,000 things at once. Not really paying attention all that much to what's going on in the room. As Magnus goes to pull out a chair, Gregorius pipes up. Magnus, this is not a censure or an interrogation, as thee may have made you to believe. We have already voiced our opinions on the matter to our well, you're all in the same ordo. I informed my ordo Grandmaster that this is a pointless endeavor. And given the fact that I too went through that ordeal, he is inclined to believe me. There is again binaric from the Grandmaster. Z only really Winters understands it as he he. And again more vibrating from his chest on his robes. Latilla, God damn you and your L's. Latilla stands up, greets Magnus, and much like Gregorius, informs him that this is not censure, this is not an interrogation as such, but many dots of her investigation and Gregorius's investigation have all led to this world and to their former Inquisitor, Lord Inquisitor. There is one other person who stands in a much larger alcove. You believe, or could believe, that this is actually a doorway. She has two individuals next to her. Each one of them is in power armor of the light variety. As they step forwards, they are holding two relics of the sisters Sororitas. As Carla steps forth. It's been too long, Inquisitor. If this lady was once beautiful, she is no longer. Her skin is pale and placid. Her eyes have large bags under them. Her eyes almost seem to bulge out of her head. What once was more than likely long, thick hair is now just a few straggled remains. She is incredibly thin. and the Sisters of Battle, holding a relic in one hand, each support her with the other. It's good to see you again, my acolyte, but why are you here? You should not have left Ultramar. I had you placed there to protect what... He looks away for a moment. What little you have left. She weakly smiles as Latilla pipes up, saying that she requested her presence. There were things that she could not explain. So, you're all motioned to take a seat. You do not have to stand, as you essentially are asked many questions about what you've been doing throughout this campaign. Most, if not all, your things you do not have to tell. This is mainly the fact that you did inquisitorial work for the start of the campaign. You investigated this world. You investigated the Agri world and found a cornate cult had been set up along with a summoning ritual, along with a mastermind cult leader activity going on. You investigated a mining world where you found somehow a link to an extimate space. Wait, no, sorry. You found a Regia Occulta, a pathway between two worlds, and how you then essentially went off grid. You returned back to the planet of Agrafria, where you investigated more. You found a number of you found an archaeotech device that was deep beneath the Hive City. You found a trafficking operation taking trained children out of a scolum and sending them to unknown places, which culminated in you essentially finding out that the former Lord Inquisitor's wife was behind everything. You then found that the planetary governess had memories, or a memory shard, an imprint of the Lord Inquisitor's earlier self within her mind. Which would later then also culminate in the world's founding being sabotaged, the Lord Inquisitor of the Sky's ship getting badly damaged, so on and so forth. This takes hours. Hours upon hours upon hours. Servitors come in and bring refreshments. There are even bathroom breaks where you go off and, use the bathroom, get something to eat, wash up, have a little nap for a moment, for a short time. This interrogation, questioning time, mission debrief, where you are allowed your data slates. They will be brought to you from your ship. If you wish to go through them, you all have to give your individual statements. When you're giving Magnus gives his overall mission briefing for everything that's gone on. When you do your ones, Magnus is asked to basically step up from the table and to go behind you, so that he is not interfering with what you should or should not say.
Yeah, I'm more than willing to give over what information I give over what information I have to. I am keeping as much stuff I don't to my chest.
Yeah, same here.
Pretty much same, yeah.
I am, of course, omitting the things that should blatantly be omitted. Stuff like private conversations with Mordecai.
Yeah, no, with those being omitted as well. Yeah, they're
Sure, you don't go into detail about every time you go with Tiffany as well. So
Yeah, I mean, they don't need to. They don't need that. That's not pertinent
at
information.
2100 on day 352 of the mission, Tiffany and I.
I don't
3
think
days later, we were finished.
Jesus Christ. I don't think Winters has much to not say.
I mean, for this, I will be omitting the fact that I know that Mordecai forgot to lock the book, but
There's personal information and then there's mission specific information. So like Ezio wouldn't know a lot of the personal stuff that's gone on. So if he did, mention about overhearing something, or it would just be in passing. But all of your mission statements would basically line up and, would be very, very similar to each other's. Again, some details some details may change here or there, and the Inquisitors definitely do question certain parts of the information, but not interrogate. They are just, asking, something that Winters would have said or something that Ezio would have said, and, did you see that happen? Did you see that shot get taken? The device, explain that more. Things of that
Unless
nature.
they do ask, I'll not be actually mentioning that I know which regiment the traitor guard came from.
Sure. There was one thing I wanted to.
Are we?
Go ahead.
Are we mentioning Darius' sister?
Darius' sister.
I'm not.
Because if he's not mentioning it, I'm not mentioning it.
pretty much taking my cues from Darius on that one.
Everything else, I don't think there's anything else major that I can or cannot tell. But that, if it's not mentioned before, I won't mention it either.
The mutants that were augmented, and the cybernetics that were taken from them, and the crystals, would those things be mentioned?
Oh.
I will definitely mention the, I believe they were tech priest guards. When we arrived, they were already dead. That's all I remember.
Oh. I won't mention the crystals. I'll just say that they were augmented. 'Cause I think I still have the crystals in one of my null boxes.
I don't think Darius knows all too much about the crystals, so I'm not going to mention them. But the augmented mutants, yes.
Yeah, I don't see a reason why Liliana wouldn't mention
What was the other thing?
the augmented dude. So.
The crystals, the augmented mutants, and what was the other one? Sorry.
Those were the main two things. Oh, sorry. The book would be another thing.
The book not not being safely secured, I think.
No. The fact that you have a book from a cult that was it was taken from the cult. The fact it has a minor demon entity in, I believe only two of you really know about.
Yeah.
I mean,
the book.
It's probably in my.
Yeah,
Oh,
it formed. I was going to say it formed a large part of one of our missions, so it's probably in the reports that
Yeah,
book
I don't,
exists. But
I don't think we can not mention the bugs. So,
So Gregorius and Latilla and Sarah would be interested about the cult book. Winters would know immediately that upon mentioning the augmented mutants and how they were controlled, the new sphere activity around the Grand Master just almost disappears, and he seems to pay almost complete attention to absorbing the data of controlled mutants and so on and so forth. And he would ask questions to no one else except from Winters in binary about the makeup of these augments, how they functioned, what their design was, what their so on, so on, so on, so on.
I will, of course, share all the information I have on them with him. Specifically, my personal theory that it's a mix of like conventional cybernetics to have a physical control, and then using psionics as a transmitter.
Again, there's this happy vibrating, no, gyrating looking thing that comes from his chest as he's discussing this unknown cybernetic, or at least possibly unknown cybernetic that he could have, could examine and could unlock mysteries and things and so forth. For
Does he get interested about the anti fucking interrogation device that was inside the governor?
not so
Because of
much.
his strange makeup?
It seems to be known of. It's
Oh,
more
okay.
the unknown. He also the Archaeotech device that had an effect upon the warp underneath the city. He takes great interest in. But for him, yeah, unless it seems to be technology based, he does seem to like. Well, Winters is the only one who can notice that he kind of tunes out and starts doing other things on the newsphere.
He's playing on the Game Boy underneath the fucking robe.
Whereas Gregorius and well the other three do question and seem very interested in this book of the cult. This interview questioning period, it goes on for about 2 days. Like I said, there are periods when you actually get to sleep and go and eat and wash, and on the third day, the atmosphere in the room does seem to change dramatically. Immediately when you sit down, servitors bring forth a number of glasses. One of them is an Amasec glass, which appears to have Amasec in with ice. Another one seems to be a water glass that has ice in it as well. And another one seems to have some type of wine. The Magos almost knows instinctively that Winters will probably not partake, but they are placed there anyway. Gregorius and Latilla are already sipping on a wine or an Amasec, whereas Carla is drinking the water. The Grandmaster stops his things on the newsphere. Your colleagues, Magnus, have determined that you are indeed non-heretical. The two Inquisitors look at him, and Liliana and Gregorius both, almost in time, say, that was never in question. And again, only Winters would hear the he that comes from his binaric. Gregorius steps up. Magnus, as you know, I have not given up the hunt for those involved with the traitorous Electo. And I believe that my dealings have also uncovered such things. I have been investigating a number of rumors of... He thinks for a moment at your dealings with the Skolem Terenia. Was not the only one. I found a number of worlds that had Skolams similar and grander, and all contained a book with a minor demon entity within it. One to open the mind to the acceptance of working alongside the warp abominations, warp entities, and so on. What was most alarming, however, was the fact that number that I do not wish to enclose of these Skolams were linked to the Imperial Navy. They've been running for decades, Magnus. In truth, I know not how long they were, but they were prestigious. My investigations led me to find a number of captains. Captains, Magnus, who belonged to this cult. Unfortunately, I was not able to stop them. They were the captains of the ships that came to Agrafria. And others are still at large, but their names and their genome have been given to the Ordo Hereticus. We will find them. This plot has been unraveled. But the damage... There's no telling how many officers these captains have influenced, and how many of these officers have then moved on to other ships within the Navy. Electo was grand in his treachery. It seemed as if he wished to have a large portion of the Imperial Navy under his command. Latilla is next. Yes. Yes, that would do. Yes, Magnus. And as for me, you mentioned the Regia Occulta. I too have been investigating rumors of archaeotech and monsters appearing on seemingly unpopulated worlds, worlds in areas that should not have rumors of monsters. They were simple missions to ingratiate myself into the Ordo. However, they turned out to be far more than that. I was not able to uncover its true meaning until it was too late. 3 gene stealer cults were unleashed on outlying settlements. How he was able to link worlds to known cults, or if this was just a cruel game by the Cursed Four, I have no clue. One world has been lost. The others I was able to act quickly enough, given our dealings with the Gene Stealer and my knowledge of their anatomy and how they function. But I did not have the knowledge on the device used, and they were lost. As for the Regia Occulta itself, my acolytes and I did not have the knowledge or time to research them, as I had to call upon an old friend, and you did not answer, so I asked her without your permission. Regia Occulta. A hidden place. A doorway. There are a number of these phenomena that happen within the Imperium, but none have ever been controlled or created to be stabilized. My knowledge of Necron technology is limited, but it is surmised this may be how the Dolmen gates work. They create a stable occulta doorway. Instantaneous travel from one place to another. But it was in this that I went into more esoteric knowledge, information, delving deeper and deeper into the Sisters of Battle hold up the relics moving forwards so that they are in eye's view of Sister Sarah. Before they were more respectfully stood back. As she looks up at the two relics, she begins to breathe and, apologies, my lords. There is much knowledge on these phenomena, but little of its understanding, and even less of devices that can control. I only mention the Dolmen Gate, Magnus, as past dealings. I understand. Thank you, Sister Sarah, and you have all my apologies. I should have offered up another savant. Tell me. Magnus thinks for a moment, not quite knowing what the word is, and then Winters. That thing you learnt of, the extra...
Time spaces.
Thank you. Extimate spaces. We learnt knowledge on these. Is that somehow linked? Again, the new sphere cuts for a moment. Activity kind of stops as the Magos sits up straighter more. You can hear a whirring sound. Extimate spaces are hidden areas. A space between... I did a completely different voice for him. Never mind. A space between the immaterium and material realms. They are theorized to exist, but none has ever been created by the blessings of the Omnisire. It is believed that there are a number that exist naturally. However, accessing these areas would normally require some knowledge of sorcery, sorcerous ways, or chaos. They are beyond rare. Eisenhorn himself has documented 2 of these spaces between spaces. Sister Sarah speaks up. Extimate spaces. Yes, there is... she seems to struggle, her eyelids fluttering, her eyes almost rolling back as Sister of Battle places a hand on her shoulder, and she looks up, seeing the relic again, taking a deep breath. There is knowledge within Eisenhorn's reports. It is of a extimate space used by a cult to hide their workings. It was hidden, natural place, not created. She takes the sister, her hand raises up and takes hold of the Sister of Battle's gauntleted hand and begins to squeeze. they are places that special words must be used to enter. In Eisenhorn's case, a thing named Word of Power was used. Words of power are believed to be an ancient language, far, far older than the Eldar or Necrons, as a number of Eldar informants, individuals who have cooperated with the Inquisition. The other sister of battle takes another hold of her other shoulder, and she begins to shake. Calmly at first, but getting more and more violent as the shaking moves throughout. Even her core begins to shake. The Xenos know these words as words of creation, but have little knowledge of their lexicon, or what the Xenos are willing to tell us. The knowledge we have is limited, and Gregorius has provided evidence they exist, which have been backed up by another interrogator, as well as his former interrogator, and the Sisters of Battle move in front of her, and you can hear prayers of salvation and absolution being muttered as a smell of incense begins to emanate from their position, filling the room. Magnus does look concerned, as well as Latilla. Gregorius also looks concerned. The Grandmaster is now on the news sphere again.
If this data is available in the Inquisitorial archives, I could access it for us.
Unfortunately, a number of those archives are kept only in paper form in Inquisitorial fortresses. Sister Sarah here was placed on Ultramar. Its archive is vast. I'm afraid we won't have time to return. He looks worried and concerned, but it might be possible for her to copy the data for you onto a data slate or scroll. Once she's in a sanctum, surrounded by the God Emperor's protection, I hope she will improve. One of the sisters stops praying and turns to Magnus and the other Inquisitors. My lords, we will return our sister to the shrine aboard our vessel. But of course, the Inquisitors may request presence at any time. This place does not have the Emperor's blessing, as she looks directly at the Ordo Grandmaster, who again seems nonplussed. Winters could tell he's not in the news sphere, doesn't really give a shit. Sister Sarah is basically picked up by one of the Sisters of Battle after passing off the relic to the other one, and she is carried to the gun cutter that brought her here, that is of the Sisters Sororitas. More hallowed and holy than an Arc Mechanicus. There is but one other thing that is brought up, and that is Egulus, the planet. And
those were actually details.
and where you will be going next time, what this world is, so on and so forth. Now, how are we doing for time? It's just coming up to 9:30.
I should go to bed.
This is a point where we can stop and do the next session of mission data and
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
other
'Cause,
RP things.
Yeah.
Cool.
well, I'm fine, but I know the others might not be.
No, it is.
Yeah, I should be.
9:30 is
Sorry.
normally our stopping off point. So as it's an RP session and this has basically come to a good point to stop, seems like a smart move. So with all the information laid down and a few more mysteries solved, as to the heretical captains and how the hell they got here and how that all... this has been a much grander heresy than anyone ever knew. We will be ending off our episode. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this one and are looking forward to future episodes to come. There may be one more. Until there will be a break for season 3 and for... I need to do some rolling off camera for equipment lists, and it gives the players an extra week or so to fill those lists out even more. So, thank you all so much for watching. Certainly hope you've enjoyed. Take care, everyone, and as always, bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Spawn.
Bye bye.
See ya.